Hello everyone, welcome back to the course of Software Architecture and Design Patterns. This video is brought to you by Newton's Group of Institutions in association with Redefined Solutions. This is Arvind Egreddy from the Department of Computer Science and Engineering. In this video, we discuss about software product lines. Any organization that develops software creates multiple software applications that have some characteristics in common. Some softwares have the same application architecture, some run on the same execution platforms, and others support the same segment of the business. Whatever the commonalities are amongst the software applications, it is important that these commonalities be managed properly so that the organization can realize the highest economy of scale. Now let us see what is software product lines and its definition. The three main goals of software product lines are to reduce the cost, improve delivery time, and improve quality. A software product line is a family of products which are designed to take advantage of their common aspects and predictive variabilities. So here the software product line practice was designed to manage the software products and their commonalities were designed to maximize the benefits of the organization. Any organization that has many software systems will notice that many of those software systems have characteristics in common. When a set of system has common characteristics, they are candidates to become the part of the product family or product line. Here, a product line has a set of core assessments upon which the shared family of the system is built. Here, core assets include shared components, infrastructure, tools, process, documentation, and above all, shared architecture. A product line is a decomposition of the entire application portfolio of an organization according to these common characteristics. So, a product line is a set of software intensive system sharing a common managed set of features that satisfy the specific needs of particular marketing segment or mission and that are developed to form a common set of core assets in a prescribed way. Coming to software product lines, software architecture represents a significant investment of time and effort, usually by the senior talent persons. So it is natural to want to maximize the return of the investment by reusing the architecture across the multiple systems. Architecturally matured organization tends to treat their architecture as a valuable intellectual property and they look for the ways in which this property can be leveraged to produce the additional revenue and reduce the cost. So here both are possible with the architecture reuse. Software products lines based on inter-product commonality representation and an innovative growing concepts in software engineering. A product line architecture captures the architecture of many relevant or many related products simultaneously. Generally, it employs explicit variation points in the architecture indicating where design decisions may diverge from product to product. Here, every customer has his own requirements so that they demand the flexibility on the part of the manufacturers. Software product lines, they simplify the creation of the system which are built specifically for a particular customer or a customer groups. So here the improvement in cost, time to market and the productivity that comes with a successful product line can be a breathtaking consideration. For example, if we consider Nokia is able to produce 25 to 30 different phone models every year, this is only because of the product line approach. And because of this product line approach only, Cummins Incorporation, which was able to reduce the time it takes to produce the software for a diesel engine from about a year to about a week. And Motorola observed a 400% productivity improvement in the family of one-way pagers. And this is also only because of product line approaches. So here, creating a successful product line depends on a coordinating strategy which involves software engineering, technical management, and organization management. A product line architecture needs to consider three things. First, identifying the variation points. Second, supporting the variation points. Third, evaluating the architecture for product line suitability. Now, first let us discuss identifying the variation points. Here, identifying variation is an ongoing activity because many of the ways a product can vary. So variations can be identified at virtually any time during the development process. And some variations are identified during the product line requirement elicitation time. So here, during architectural design also we see the variations, and still others during implementation. So here variations may also be identified during the implementation of the second product as well as, because at subsequent products also we can see that there is a variation. Now the second one is supporting these variation points. So in a conventional architecture, the mechanism for achieving the different instances almost always comes down to modify the code. But in a software product line, architectural support for variation can take many forms. For example, inclusion of or omission of elements. So these decisions can be reflected in the build procedures for different products, or the implementation of a element can be conditionally compiled based on some parameters indicating its presence or absence. Inclusion of different number of replicated elements. For instances, high capacity variants might be produced by adding more servers. The actual number should be unspecified as a point of variation. Again, a build file would select a number of appropriates for the particular product. So the third form is selection of variation of elements that have the same interface but different behavior or quality attribute characteristics. Now coming to the third thing, that is evaluating the architecture for product line suitability. Like any other, the architecture for a software product line should be evaluated for the fitness of purpose. So in fact, given the number of systems that will rely on it, we need to evaluate, or the evaluation takes on an even more important role of the product line architecture. Here, the good news is that the evaluation techniques they described earlier in the book will work well for the product line architecture. The architecture should be evaluated for its robustness and generality to make sure that it can serve as the basis for the products in the production lines envisioned scope. So it should also be evaluated to make sure that it meets the specific behavior and quality requirements of the product at hand. So we begin by focusing on the how to evaluate it, when to evaluate it, and what to evaluate it. So here, the first one is what to evaluate and how to evaluate. So what and how to evaluate. So here the evaluation will have to focus on the variation points to make sure that they are appropriate, that they offer significant flexibility to cover the product lines intended scope, that they allow products to build quickly, and that they do impose unacceptable runtime performance cost. So if our evaluation scenario is based, then we need to expect to elect the scenarios that involve instantiating the architecture to support the different products in the family. Also, different products in the family line or the product line may have different quality attribute requirements, and the architecture will have to be evaluated for its ability to provide all the requirements combinations. So here again, try to elect the scenarios that capture the quality attributes which are required to family members. Now, the question is when to evaluate. Here, an evaluation should be performed on an instance or variation of the architecture that will be used to build one or more products in the product line. So here the extent to which this is a separate dedicated evaluation depends on the extent to which the product architecture differs in quality attributes affecting away from the product line architecture. If it does not differ, then the product line architecture evaluation can be abbreviated, since many of the issues normally be raised in the single product evaluation will have been dealt within the product line evaluation. In fact, just as the product architecture is a variation of the product line architectures or the product line evaluation, in fact, just the product architecture, which is a variation of the product line architecture, the product architecture evaluation is a variation of the product line architecture evaluation. Therefore, depending on the evaluation methods that are being used, the evaluation artifacts will have reuse potential, and we should create them with that in mind. So the result of evaluation of product architecture often provides useful feedback to the product line architecture. Now, let us see the product line benefits. So there are many benefits to establish the product line. Principally, the product line leads to reduce the cost and fasten the time to market for a new projects. Also, a product line approaches the software development will lead to make portable stuff because the architecture is smaller from the project to project. Finally, risks are also reduced and quality is improved because the architecture has been proven on multiple projects. Now, the first benefit is reduced cost. So here, adopting a product line approach to developing and maintaining the applications can dramatically reduce the cost through the specification of roles and the reuse of the core assets that otherwise would have needed to be developed or acquired and maintained separately for each application. The second benefit is improved time to market. For many organizations, cost is not the primary driver for the product line adoption. So reusable components speed the time it takes to get the product out to the door. So product line allows organization to take advantage of the shared features and their product lines and to add the features particularly to the products they are building. The third benefit is flexible staffing and productivity. There is much more flexibility when moving people around the organization, since they become familiar with the set of shared tools, components, and process of each product line. A critical product development effort can benefit from using people from other product development teams who are much familiar with the product line's core assets. So here the learning curve is shortened because the shared assets of the product line are familiar to the staff who work on the products in the product line. And the fourth benefit is increased predictability. So in a shared product line, several products are developed using a set of common core assets, a shared architecture and production plan, and people with the experience for creating the products within the product line. So these core assets and architecture are proven on several products. So here the project managers and other stakeholders will have more confidence in the success of new projects within the product line because of the proven set of core assets and people. Next, the last benefit, that is higher quality. Because these core assets serves the needs of more than one project, they must be of higher quality. Also, multiple projects exercise the shared assets in more ways than a single project would. So, these shared assets will have a much higher quality. In addition, these shared architecture of the product lines is also proven through implementation of several projects. Not only are the core assets of higher quality, but the applications that are developed from them are of higher quality, because this streams from the higher quality of the core assets, staff that have the higher expertise, major projects predictability, and proven quality assurance process at the product line level. Now let us conclude this product line. So here, every organization of any size has developed applications that have characteristics in common through informal means, and many of these applications share the common components, infrastructure, or process. Product lines provide a way of formalizing the manner in which these applications are managed in the organization. So here the goal of the product line oriented organization is to maximize the benefits that come from managing the group of applications together, and reuse in a product line is a byproduct of the structure of the organization. So here it reduces development, quality assurance, and maintenance costs, and getting products to the market faster. These are all the real benefits of the product lines. That's all for now. Thank you all for watching the video till the end. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon for the latest notifications.